Eagles Nation, what is up? Tom, Views from the Link, coming to you with another episode of Bird Buzz. There's really nothing more to say other than football's back. Hall of Fame game was last night. Now we roll in. We're less than a week away from the Eagles' first preseason game, so questions are coming in, and, there's a lot to be answered, so let's get into it. That Ninja Zay asks, if Wentz at the end of the year threw for 4,000 yards, 28 TDs, and 12 ints, would that be considered good enough? Now, from a statistical standpoint, that is an improvement from what he did his rookie year. So individually, yes, that would be, considered a big improvement. Huge. However, I think that Carson Wentz and this team in general will be obviously judged on if they make the playoffs or not, if they win the division, if they can beat their teams in their division. That's what you have to do, and it's a competitive division. There's very good teams, and that were better than the Eagles last season. So it's an uphill battle, but I think that if this team can, compete in December, it's going to be, a big improvement from, it's going to show that they're on the right path, and that's all we can ask. And it might take a while, but they're going in the right direction, and we need to see an improvement. So from Wentz and from the team. So, it's a good question, Zay. Next, Phenomenal 1239 says, I'll be at the Link for open practice this Sunday. That's cool. That's awesome. I wish I was in Philly. Wish I was there, able to go with you and with all the other Eagles fans. But end of the day, just get them going, get them pumped up, and bring the cheers, because this team's coming to prove something. So let's support them. Geo_V2 says, missed the edits with the Drake lyrics, bro. Hopefully they're making a comeback. That's cool. I'm glad, you appreciated those, and a lot of people were liking them, because I haven't posted one in a while, but, I'm just trying to strike when the timing's right, so I really appreciate that. They are definitely going to be coming back, but a matter of when is the question, so we'll see what happens with that. But I really appreciate you saying that you like that, because that's awesome. That's good to hear. Maybe I will post one now, because, hearing fan feedback, that's awesome. J_Brad13 asks, so Justin Bradley, are you scared that Alshon's injury could linger into the regular season? Not at all. I think that once the hitting started picking up in practice and camp, they said, all right, let's get this guy out of here, and then they're not going to play him in the first preseason game. He sustained the injury, and then he practiced last Sunday in front of the fans at the Link. So I think that he's good. It's just a matter of not wanting to put him in harm's way, especially this early in camp and things like that, giving him those days to rest his body. I think that's more the plan than the fact that he really is that hurt to where if it was a regular season game that he couldn't play. I don't think it's anything like that. So that's just my personal opinion. I'm not a doctor, so who knows, but we'll see what happens. I just can't afford a really bad injury, and that's probably what the precaution that they're taking is. Smithboy93 asks, are you in concern or panic mode with the corners we have? Honestly, I'm not in panic mode, because I knew that it was going to be bad before even the draft happened, because you're not going to go once the Eagles signed Alshon Jeffrey and Torrey Smith in free agency, you knew for a fact that they weren't going to go get a big-time corner in free agency. You knew that there wasn't one on the team, and you knew you were going to draft guys. Now, our rookie might be playing had Sidney Jones not gotten hurt and dropped to the second round. So the Eagles' top rookie cornerback pick would be the number one cornerback on this team coming into this year, be the starter. And Sidney Jones has a lot of talent, so he was going to go in the top 15. That might have been their pick at 14, to be honest with you. So behind Marshawn Lattimore, there really was no one other than Sidney Jones, and those were the top two guys. So the Eagles got him in the second round, so it's about being patient. So I'm not in panic mode, because I just want him to get healthy and him to be good, and that will change the entire defense. And then Rasul Douglas, he's probably going to struggle this year. He's a rookie picked in the third round, more of a developmental guy, and Jalen Mills is a second-year guy who was picked in the seventh round and forced into extra action last year due to injury. Although I think he played pretty well at times, he had the confidence, all that. But these guys are young, and I knew that coming in, and those are the three guys that you want to build around and build this cornerback picture around, and hope that those guys turn out to be a good, solid 3 starting corners in the NFL. 3 guys that can be on the field, not so much starting, but 3 guys that can be on the field at any time and not be considered like a liability, and they're going to be liabilities early in their career. They're not perfect. They're not already elite proven players. They're not. So we need to, be patient with these guys. So no one should be in panic mode. We address the position. It's just going to take some time to develop guys. That's all. And when you go through a position rebuild, sometimes that's what happens. So, and then SmithBoy93 also asks, who has impressed or surprised you most in camp? Obvious answer is Nelson Aguilar. The guy, not that it's not surprising to me that he's playing well in practice because he's always been a really hard worker. What surprises me most is the fans getting behind it and embracing it. It's cool. So I really like that the fans have kind of embraced his struggle and said, "Look, man, we've all been there. Let's just get it done." So I think that's really cool. But still got to put the work in on the field on Sundays. You put all the work in, then you got to put it in, put the results out there on Sundays. So we'll see, how it develops. But there's nothing wrong with getting behind him and supporting him. And I think it's surprising to me that we've really gravitated toward him. And he's making plays and he is looking good. He really is. He's looking really good. So we'll see what I've always thought he had the tools, but he need to put it all together. And if he can, it'll be awesome. So we'll see. Marlin03130021 asks, good enough for what? Not concerned with our corners, and Alshon will be fine. Maybe he's responding to Zay asking if Wentz's stats will be good enough, and I already addressed that, so I'm just going to move on here. It's Miles. Can the comeback position alone be enough to keep us out of the playoffs? So it's Miles asks that, and can the cornerback position alone be enough to keep us out of the playoffs? I read that wrong. Okay. Yeah, a weakness can always really hold you back, and the Eagles, they need to find a way to disguise their biggest weakness, and that is the youth of their cornerbacks position and the lack of depth. The Eagles did sign Corey Graham, defensive back from Buffalo. He played safety and corner in his career. He's been in the league for 10 years. It's a guy Jim Schwartz was familiar with that was out there that has starting experience. So, you add him to the roster and you just see what kind of depth he can provide. There's, different formations you can put in. He can play a little corner potentially. You never know what's going to happen. You get, moves here, moves there. They're just going to be filler moves, guys that you hope can come in and provide a little bit of an upgrade to what you have. Maybe they think he's going to be better than Patrick Robinson, and they'll just get rid of Patrick Robinson. You never know what kind of idea they have. They have to see these guys play in preseason and all that. So, but I don't think they're going to go crazy and get some big time guy. I just don't see it. So, the cornerback position is probably the biggest weakness on the team, considering the the youth there and the inexperience. But I don't know. It can keep you out of the playoffs, but it's really the Eagles' strength, the jobs of the other guys to rise up above that. Got the upgrades at receivers, got the D-line, got the safeties, got the linebacking core. There's other players on the team that can make plays, and the cornerbacks, even if they are a little bit bad, the team should still be good, so I'm counting on that. The Folk 2 times asks, is the roster good enough in your eyes where we can rank in the top 10 on both offense and defense? It's a great question. The roster, I love the guys that are on this team, and I think they're really talented. And it's tough to say though. Top 10 in both categories. I think these guys they still have a lot to prove before I say that. So I'm on board with this team, and I'm really loving the direction they're going. But we'll have to see at the end of the season, where they're at, obviously. But it's hard to say. I would guess probably not in both, but I could see maybe one. Off total offense is just how many yards you gain. So the Eagles could gain a lot of yards. I think I would bet on the offense being top 10 before I bet on the defense, because the passing defense is probably going to be bad, considering the cornerbacks are really young. But we'll see what happens. I think points allowed is a big time thing to consider when you're considering defensive rankings, and that's an area where the Eagles could improve from 12th in the league from last year, even a little better this year. So we'll see what happens with that. And if Snakestagram says, if you can keep from leading the team in drops, how many yards do you plan on receiving this year? I think they are directing the question at the picture of Nelson Aguilar that I posted, and all I gotta say is watch this dude work. That's it. That's all I gotta say. Battery is dying, so I'm signing off. Thanks for tuning in. Nelson Aguilar, just watch him work. See you next time, guys.